Jubran?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to have you with us here to be able to share your success story. Finally, we have been able to get in touch, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope it will be more interesting and exciting to be able to hear your success story. And all our members who are listening to us, they'll also enjoy the story as well.
Sure. Yes.
So, as we all understand that you have come from such a very challenging background. And before we get into the details of how you started a business and how you came into it, a little bit about your background and from where you come from, and so that our audience understands it better. And from there, we take it forward.
Okay. So, hi, all of you watching this. So, this is Krithika, as Jubran just discussed. So, I come from a background of a Marwari family, a typical Jain Marwari family, where, being brought up in a family of three daughters, I'm the eldest of all. And, all of us know generally how this background is. So, coming into that background and thinking about entrepreneurship, taking up ownership of doing some business on your own, and it was not easy, but yes, my parents have had that broad mind, to support me, and they've always been like, do what you want to and do what your heart says. So they have been the pillars behind my success. They have been the people who have actually motivated me. And as usually it's said, Marwadi is always born with the instincts of doing business in their blood. So I think
Absolutely.
I had the instinct of doing business, and that's how I think I landed up into this.
Oh, that's great. I recently came across while we were doing some research about your business journey that there was some incident which had happened with you, which became a turning point of your life. So could you just share about that incident and how you handled it, and what takeaway you had from it, and how it helped you develop a business on that?
To actually, yeah, the biggest incident of my life, which has been a huge turning point for me, was at the age of 16. I was still a school going student. I was doing my 12th standard, and there was a big fire accident that I had got into. And that fire accident, actually, I'm thankful to God that it happened so early in my life, that it just turned around my life into, whatever I am today or whatever I'm going to be. I think it is because of that one accident, which actually totally changed my thought process and the way I look at things from thereafter. So after that accident, when I was, almost 3 to 4 months, I was not able to study. I was not able to go to school. I was not able to do my regular activities because I was hospitalized and all those things. So that, was a very big burden on my mind at that point of time, that I've lost so much of time in life. I need to do something big. And that's what actually started triggering me into doing different things. And I started, going for classes. And then that little entrepreneur mindset actually started me, where after that accident, I went for some classes and I learned making perfumes, paint balms. And then I said, when I know something, why not put it to use? So then I started preparing it. I invested the money which I've saved. As a child, you always get that pocket money. So I used to save a little out of that and spend little. So that money I put into investment, and that was my little journey of entrepreneurship, which began at the age of 17. And I started making paint balms and perfumes at home, and started selling at different small exhibitions and all of that. So after that is when I was very clear that I wanted to do interiors. And the whole motive behind doing interiors was, as a child, whenever I went to different places, it was always that, why is every place different? When you go to a place, every place is giving you a different vibe, right? So who is that person behind it who's actually doing it? So interior designing was not a stream which was too much, in trend, about 8 9 years back. So I was like, who is behind this? And then slowly I started my research, and I came to know that there's someone called as interior designer who's actually behind making these beautiful places and giving us those different experiences. So there is where I picked that, I always like helping people. I'm more of a giver. I would go, I can take any, I can go a long way to do something for someone else. So that one thing actually triggered me to take up this field of interior designing, where I can actually help people realize their dreams. And most importantly, the theme was that you don't have to be spending extravagant money to actually get interiors done, but every individual deserves to be hired, able to take professional services to actually realize their dreams. They don't have to feel sorry about not being too wealthy to get an interior design and all that. So that's how I started this, and this is a passion driven business that I do.
That's a great story. But before I move forward, I wanted to understand. So you said you were in an accident, and how long you had? I mean, how long were you not mobile? I mean, how much time did you have in your hand that time?
How long was the accident?
Yeah,
The
the recovery
setback of the
period.
accident.
Yeah.
So I think it was almost 43 days that I was at the hospital itself,
Mhm.
and when I came back home, and I was still, I was supposed to be in a closed environment because I could have been prone to, you know, allergies or
I
anything
see.
else because it was all open
So your
injuries.
recovery period would have been approximately a year, if I'm not wrong.
3 to 4 months
3 or 4 months.
to actually stand back and keep going doing things
Exactly.
alone.
So in the three four
Precisely
months,
a year.
so in the 3 4 months, what did you think about? What motivated you? What did you learn in the 3 4 months? Something which really still holds back and still pushes you forward.
So what I learned, I would say that the never to give up attitude. Life, you never know when life would end. So just live every day, to the fullest. Live every day that today is the last day, or today is the first day of the rest of my life. So that was one thing which I really learned which was very very powerful for me at that moment. That you need to have that inner strength. No one outside is going to motivate you, but it's you who has to be the motivator for yourself. The grit has to come from inside. If I would not have had the grit from inside to do something big, I don't think I would have come this long in my journey.
And what inspired that grit in you? Was there any sense of inspiration? Or was it your parents? Was it some story or something which came to your mind which triggered that level of grit?
Sorry,
And
Jubran, I'm actually losing out on certain words because your voice is breaking in between.
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but in breaks.
Okay. So what inspired that grit in you? I mean, what any story or any inspirational journey or something which was standing by you, which brought in that level of grit and that confidence to take the next leap forward in terms of business and in terms of entrepreneurship. What was that inspiring moment for you?
See, there are many moments which have triggered different aspects of my life. So going back to that accident, first, why I wanted to live. There were moments where I felt, why am I living? Uh, in this accident, I should just go. My parents are in trouble. Everyone around me is in trouble. Why am I? Why should I even live? But the main inspiration, the first ever time I got inspired by someone was there was another lady who was 80 plus who was admitted upstairs in the same hospital, and she
Okay.
had a fire accident because of a gas leakage in her house, and
Wow.
she still wanted to live despite being alone. She only had her husband by her side and no other person around her in the family. When the doctors told me this, I was like, when at 80 she would want to live and still, carry on with her life. At 16, why am I even thinking of giving up?
Oh my God.
So that was my first point of inspiration. And then coming into business, my inspiration in business as, we both are connected through a common forum called BNI. So BNI has been that base structure. So the journey actually started when I had to attend a meeting on behalf of my dad. And when I saw a room full of entrepreneurs, I said, wow, the world is too big. And it was around that 17 years of age, I think, when I attended the first meeting for him as a substitute. And it was like, why am I was cribbing to even go for that meeting because I told my dad I don't want to go and sit among uncles and aunties there. And when I actually went to the room, I enjoyed, and I was like, Papa, next kab jana? When should I go next? That room actually inspired me that there is so much big you can do in life, and you're just succumbed to something very small. So that room of entrepreneurs actually inspired me.
That's interesting. So as you got inspired with entrepreneurship, what were the challenges you faced to become an entrepreneur? Because as I understand, you come from a very organic background and quite traditional and quite cultural. So when you were venturing into business so young, and what hesitations or what challenges did you face?
So the first challenge that I always had was because I started very early. the first challenge I had was whenever I used to meet clients, people used to be like, she's excellent with communicating, she has work to be shown, and everything is there. But will she be able to handle the project because of my age?
Mhm.
So that was the main challenge I always had in the beginning. Bade size ka project, big projects, how will she be able to handle it? Will she be able to manage the whole crowd? Why will people who are so experienced, laborers who are so experienced, listen to her? So that one point, I was actually losing out on projects in my initial days. Majority of the big chunk of projects that I was receiving, I was losing it out at that point. And then when I went back to my mentor and asked about this, and he said, Kritika, do a simple thing that when you go to them, instead of talking, I think sometimes people end up thinking that, she's talking so much. Is she really going to put it in, action? So just go and show them that, these are the clients you've worked with. This is what you've worked as in terms of work and what best you can offer them. So that implementation actually helped me change the perception of people towards me as an entrepreneur also. And then I started seeing bigger and better projects getting converted, and Kriti Interior started doing a lot of good work and big work in the market.
That's nice. So generally, when you have a client which comes with a tight budget, how do you approach a tricky client like that? What is your go-to strategy?
So when a client comes with a tight budget, what do we do is what you're asking, right?
Exactly. Because
To be
very
very
challenging,
honest,
it's a very conservative, very challenging industry. So you have always this tight budgets and constant changes, constant
correct.
iterations. You have a design, they want something else. So how do you manage this situation where you have a tight budget and you still deliver the best result?
See, we have a very different way of taking projects in. One, we spend a lot of we spend a lot of time with the client before even we take up the project. We are not hesitant about that. It's okay. It's time invested with the client, but that actually paves us a lot of way to actually understand what client exactly wants, and we're able to deliver that to them in one shot. So that has been our strength. Now, clients coming with tight budget, to be very honest, every client comes with a tight budget. Every client comes with a tight budget, where you will be thinking that the client should be spending at least 80, 90 lakhs on this project, and the client would say, no, I have only 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs to spend. Or you think they need to spend at least 20 and they will be like 10. But to be honest, this industry, interiors, is such a industry, such a business, that it's a huge market. It's a huge market, and we have been able to tap that because of the knowledge that we carry in terms of the materials available in the market. So when a client comes with certain kind of a budget, right, so we are able to understand from their point of view, and we are able to give them alternate materials depending on the budgets that they carry, without compromising on the quality, and compromising on the design style that they would expect. So that's been one of our core strengths that we offer the client, and that's, I think, one thing where clients keep coming back to us as
That's
well.
a very interesting strategy. So if the client has a tight budget, start giving them options when it comes to materials. That would diversify your knowledge process when it comes to materials, and that way you'll be able to
Exactly.
give a good result in a budget. That's interesting.
Exactly.
What is something which in recent, so as we understand that the trends are changing, there's so much of competition in interiors, and there's so much of constant changes in the thought process of people and interest levels. So what style has been inspiring you the most directly when it comes to designing, and how do you manage that constant trend change? How do you keep up with the trend?
So I'll tell you what, people today, for an interior designer or an architect, the biggest competitor today is not another architect or an interior designer. The biggest competition today is your Google, your Pinterest, and all of that. So the clients are the best motivators who actually help you set the trend. So they will always come with 100 photographs in their phones, and they will be like, Kritika, this is what we have sorted, and this is the style that we're looking for. So the clients themselves inspire you, and they push you to actually take up something new. So that is one thing. And to be honest, to share with you, my personal favorite style of design is a traditional kind of design. I love doing that because that is something evergreen.
Talking
And
about Indian traditional, or talking about European traditional, or more of that South
no, I'm
Indian?
talking about the designs being traditional. A lot of woodwork, and the typical South Indian chettinad style of design. That's my personal favorite. If a client says, Kritika, the project is all yours, we don't have a particular design to suggest, you can just do what you have to, or I have to do my own home, then I would go with the traditional style of designing.
That's interesting. So as you were into the business journey, and I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges. Can you share with us one challenging story which you faced during a project, and how did you handle it, and what did you learn from it?
So I would highlight one or two stories here. No, some critical projects. I would not want to name the client here, but yeah, one of the projects that we actually stepped in was like, we had quoted for the project and we took up the project and everything, and suddenly after a few days the client said, no, I think we want to go with someone else before starting the project. So you can't stop the client. The client is end of it, the decision maker, at least until he has paid an advance to you. So we said that's fair enough, so it's okay. So anytime, so we always have this habit, even if it's a no from the client, we still like to close it on a good note, saying that it's okay. Anything in future, we would like to be of help to you, so you can always approach us. So we leave that window open for the client to come back to us at any point of time. So this particular project was a big client, and they went back and they did the designs with someone known to them in their close circle, and happened to be that that close relative of the client actually left the project halfway through, and the client had to come back to us. And that was the point where we actually entered the project. Until date, we are their go-to interior designer. So they have never gone into comparison now, and they went because they said hamare ek relative hi hai who is doing it, so I think we should give it to them. But then we were able to break that because we kept the window open, and till date, any site that we do, the client does not even step into the site until we say that it's ready for handover. So that's the trust that we earned with them. And one more story that I would like to highlight is, again, where the client is like, the client is one of our far off relatives. So this particular client was like, his own daughter, I mean, his own son's daughter is an architect practicing in Bangalore, and they were like, all our work she only does, anything it is, she'll come down for Bangalore and all that. So I said, fair enough. And when they called me for a project, I was surprised. I mean, why are you calling me? So they said, no, we thought it's easier, you will be able to do it and all of that. So I said, okay, fair enough. But, there was that pricking happening. This girl from Bangalore used to come down and she was like, aise karna chahiye, waise karna chahiye, this is how you should do it, that's how you should do it. So I said at a point that I think, since you already have someone at home, I think they should do it for you. I would not like to, I don't like this kind of interference, and, my team would like to do it their way. So this client was surprised, and we actually left the project halfway, not, left the project as in we were like, nah, yaar, this is not the way we want to work, because we know what the client exactly would want and what we can add as a value to them. So there was a break of about 5 to 7 days in between the project, and this female takes over and she is not able to handle the project. And then the client, again, from that moment onwards, today we just have, he just has to make a call that this is the project to be done, and we just go ahead even without quotations given to them. So that's the trust that they have seen, that despite being an outsider compared to a person who is actually staying with them and knowing their taste in and out, living with them, but still we were able to understand better in terms of their requirements. So that's what I was trying to highlight, that we are very good at catching the nerves of the client, understanding exactly what is right and wrong for them. It's not about just selling them a product or giving them the service, but it's about giving them what they like and not just forcing them to take what we would want to give it to them.
That's interesting. So as a female entrepreneur, what are the advice or tips you like to give upcoming female entrepreneurs in terms of what they should be strong at to achieve a significant growth in business?
The only thing I would say is, to any female entrepreneur, I understand that it is difficult, because we keep hearing a lot of negatives outside and all of it. I think as women of today's world, we should be that strong. We are all backbones of our family. All of us are backbones of our family. Same is with the outside world. We are the backbone of our country. We are the backbone of the industry that we belong to. We should never be hesitant and walk out boldly. I think the world is just going to come and, come and help you. If you want to do something, if you've decided to do something, there is nothing that can stop you from doing it. So don't be scared of taking that first step. It is always scary to do it. I was also scared because the field that I belong to, day in and day out, I'll end up working with a lot of men around me, right from the labor class to the, you know, someone who's an HNI also. So we deal with all kinds of people in our industry. But trust me, if you can have that confidence in you, if you can believe in yourself, there is nothing in your way which will stop you, and the world will fall at your feet and will support you for anything that you want to do. And I can vouch for that. As a woman, you never have to be scared about taking a step, because we believe it or not, the women are stronger than men. Nothing to put down the men, but we are stronger, and that's a God gift that we have got. The inner instinct of a woman. It's just that we sometimes stop ourselves. There's no one outside who can actually stop us.
I agree with that. And I like seen it upfront that I feel that the way women handle things is much more sophisticated, and they have a very disciplined approach towards things. More power to all the women there. In regards with projects, when you have multiple projects in hand, how do you manage your time? And how do you manage? What is the key here to balance between multiple projects?
It's simple. It's just about the priority. At that moment where you're required, you have to be there, and it is all about planning. So we have done projects where we have had handovers on the same day. We have handed over 2 or 3 projects on the same day during the same timelines. But it's all about planning and management. If we do that right, it's easy to do it. It's all about planning, right? So yeah.
Understood. In regards with your personal routine, to be an entrepreneur requires tremendous discipline. So, what are the things you enjoy doing to become a better entrepreneur? And how do you generally go by your usual day?
Your voice again broke, Jubran.
In regard as an entrepreneurial journey, you need to be extremely disciplined, and you need to have a very strong approach towards your work ethic as well as your personal life. So, what is your usual day routine, and what are the things you like to do to push yourself to become a better entrepreneur?
For me to become a better entrepreneur, I think any entrepreneur, we all require a network. It is more about building relationship with people outside. It is all about expanding your network. Right now, I've personally been very succumbed to a particular kind of network. So the next steps that I'm already is in plan is, expanding my network, being part of different social groups, different kinds of groups which are into different activities. So expand my group that ways and build my network. So that's my next step towards getting myself stronger into this journey of entrepreneurship. And yeah, that's what I would do.
So, when it comes to networking, since you've spoken about networking, how do you break the ice when you go to a particular place? I mean, what did you learn about networking in the last so many years? Because I see you networking so well, as I see you in BNI. So, what was that one thing which you learned? Because networking is not an easy task. It comes with a lot of experience and a lot of confidence. So, what is your go-to strategy to break the ice?
It's very simple. I think if you're going to be interested in the other person than trying to show yourself interesting, I think that's one place you can just break the ice straight away with the opposite person. You just have to be interested in them, and once they start opening up and they start feeling comfortable, then they will all be ready to listen to what you are going to be sharing with them. So it's about this is one thing I've learned in BNI, that you need to be more interested than being interesting.
That's a very powerful statement. Be interested in the other person so that they can be interested in you. Quite interesting. Can you describe a time where you had to compromise on your designs or on your ideas just because a client was being a little naggy? And how did you manage that situation? What do you do at that particular point of time?
I think majority of the projects we have to compromise on our ideas somewhere, because client sometimes gets very very particular on what they want, and but we still more than design. I know as an interior designer, when I say this, it might sound a little awkward, but to be honest, more than design, we believe that it is about making the best use of the space available to you. It is more about utility management over designing. So this is the strength that we also have, that we are very very good at doing utility management of any kind of space that you would give me in my hand. So say for example, if you've given me a plan, I can give you at least 15 to 20 options for that one plan, with different utilities and different space management for it. So designing comes next. So when a client comes up with certain options, because see they have a huge world. It's not like the earlier days where client didn't have knowledge about things. Today people come with a lot of knowledge. They in fact, it's like, when you sit in front of certain clients, you feel as if you're sitting in the exam hall and they're testing your knowledge sometimes. So that's how it feels sometimes with some clients, right? So when they come up with these ideas and things like that, uh, we listen to them. As I said, it's all about being interested in the opposite person. We listen to them patiently and we understand what and why they're actually asking for certain things. And the first question we throw to, if it is not okay, or if it is not going to suit their design style, or if it is not right for them, we don't straight away say no, or we try to talk to them, we try to make them understand, and we address their why. Because it is always important to address the why of the person. Only when you have a strong reason to do something is why you would want to do that particular thing. Like, for example, if you're sitting on an interview now, there is a reason to it, there is a why to it, right? Why did Jubran had to approach me, or why did Krithika have to agree for doing this interview? So everything has a why in it. That's what we triggered the client to understand, that why do you want to do this particular thing. And if that answer is convincing to them and me both, and then we come to a compromising situation where, no, this is, if this is your why, then this is not the design you need to go for. Maybe we should do this. In fact, 3 days back, I was having a conversation at 11:30 in the night with my client on the chat, where the client said, no, Krithika, the space is too short in the dressing table that we are making, and it might not fit, it is not very accessible, and all those things. So in the text, I was making her understand, okay, ma'am, what is the purpose, how much you want to store, and all those things. And then we commonly concluded, and the client was happy and I was happy too, that I didn't have to compromise on the design, and the client was also happy that they got what they wanted. So that's the way we try to take, rather than compromising, but coming to a mutual solution together. Because when you take up a project, you and the client, that is our team and the client, we become one team, we become one family. And if we are going to be thinking in two different directions, we can never complete the project as per their wish or my wish. So that's the route we try taking, and that's the route we always stick on to.
That's interesting. I also see that you like to teach and mentor youngsters. So how's that journey been? How did you come into teaching? I mean, what from being a business owner to not teaching at such a young age, trying to do such diverse things? What inspired you to get into teaching?
What inspires to me being getting to teach students is that, one, it I, as I said, that with that accident and so many other things, I think that teenage time that I should have spent, I actually lost a lot of it. So when I go back to teaching, when I'm with students and all that, it makes me feel that, okay, I still belong to this age group of 25-30, the Gen Z crowd that you call it, your favorite. So it helps us being with that. One, and second thing, who inspired to be my get into teaching was my mentor at college, Mr. Rajiv. He was my mentor, and during the third year of my college, he came in for a particular subject, and from there I learned a lot of things from him. He became like an idol for me, and the way he used to help students. And we had the first ever exhibition for interior designing at college, and the way he used to go out of the way to help us. uh, from that time, I was like, this is such a beautiful profession where you're so respected, uh, you are looked up to, and you can help so many people at that young age to set a strong base. you know uh, uh, especially branding of my Kriti interiors, the logo that I have, and all of this was actually because he set that base in me, that how important branding was, right? So he inspired me a lot, and he was the one who actually sowed that thing in me, that someday when I would want to help students. But I didn't know it would happen so early. So again, he was the one who said, I think, if you're really interested in teaching, why don't you go back? So I my first teaching journey actually started with the same institute where I actually qualified from. So that was a pride, going back as an alumni and actually teaching students of the same college. That was huge pride that I carried.
That's interesting. What are the interesting things you learn from these youngsters these days? They're so challenging, so different, very vibrant.
What is
What
what do I learn from?
what have you observed or learned from this young generation, and what do you feel that we should change in ourselves with looking at them? What is the takeaway you have
I think
highlighted?
I think it's more of their energy, the more of that. they're very fast. I mean, uh, I mean, these guys at this age, they're very very fast at picking up things. They're very fast at doing things. Decision making is very quick. So that's something I think sometimes we delay a lot in our decisions. You just have to crack the ice. You just have to break. Hit the iron when it is hot. It's usually said, right? So that's, I think, very very powerful with these guys today.
That's interesting because I find it very challenging when these youngsters come because you cannot be very aggressive with them. They always think that they know, they're always aware of the situation. They know more ahead than what we could
Right.
probably teach them. We always had an organic approach to things. They have a very to the point approach to things. So
Exactly.
a very moment when you have to sit with new kids. So moving forward, I recently when I was talking to you, you told me that you went for a retreat, some meditational retreat. So
Okay.
how did you come now? Looking at your journey, from entrepreneurship to teaching, now to being, self-explorative. So how does this work? I mean, what inspired you to get into something like that?
So I didn't know this was coming to me, but yeah, okay. So, you know, uh, as I said, I'm a product of my parents and my mentors. I'm purely a product of my parents and my mentors. Whatever I am today, it is because of them. It is because of them standing by me. It is because of them giving me that feedback at every point that I would have required. They've never let me fall, and even if I've fallen, they've never let me feel that I've fallen. But they've always made the journey very smooth for me. So this retreat that you just pointed. So I was at this retreat in the month of Jan this year, and I didn't expect what it was going to be. So this was a retreat with my Mahatria, and it was Mr. Sunil Sethia, who's been my mentor, who's the one who has actually shown me the way, who has always paved the way for my uh, my journey, like right from the BNI journey, my journey in entrepreneurship, my journey in my personal life. I mean, there's so much that I have learned from him, and I don't know. It's something I don't think I can ever ask God for anything more, because He's already given me such a powerful person in life who has always stood by me, and He's appreciated me in my good. He's corrected me when I've been wrong. So you always, I think every one of us needs that one mentor who actually gets you on track. I never knew. See, I've been following Mahatria since my school days, to be very honest. The first ever magazine that I picked up was the Frozen Thoughts. It used to be called as Frozen Thoughts at that point of time, and that was the first magazine I picked up in my school days. And I was always like, this it's such simple words. He would teach something, and somewhere it used to keep me on track. And once day suddenly, Mr. Sunil Sethia sent me a link, and he said, Krithika, I want you to register. As usual, no questions asked. If my mentor has told something, even if he comes and tells me that, Kritika, you just need to go and jump out of the window, I would do it, because I know that he would be standing down to hold me and catch me before I fall. So, that's the belief I have. So the moment he said, with nothing in the mind, I just registered the very day. And from there, my journey with my Mahatria started. And I've been learning so much from him, week on week
One
growth.
or two
And
learnings
that
from that retreat which has helped you in business.
retreat has helped me in business. How, I will tell you. Uh, I've started thinking bigger. I've always been a dreamer. I will think big and I want to make things happen. But I'm seeing that my journey of growing big has literally been very, very fast. Every day is like a new opportunity. Every day is like something new is coming up. Something unexpected is happening. And I don't know from where this is happening, where this power is coming from. But after the retreat, something that I've really picked up is staying in silence is very, very important. It's not always about being that tuck tuck tuck, but it is also about just sitting down sometime and just close your eyes and get yourself calm and silent, which helps you. So that's what I picked up from the retreat, and it's been helping me uh, you know do great things in business as well.
That's interesting. Okay. Uh, what would be your goals in your future? I mean, what is your next 3 to 5 years goal? Where do you see yourself as a businesswoman in the next couple of years?
So my goal in the next 3 years is that Kriti Interiors would be there present in at least three more cities where we are helping people achieve their dreams. And also, Kriti Interiors is very, very soon going to be a huge company where recognized at the national level, and we are on the journey to make it big. So that's the goal.
That's interesting. So that's a very aggressive goal, and we really hope that you achieve those goals. But before we move towards the end of the session, some takeaways which we could, learn in short. Probably just three things you would say which you learned in your life till now, which people could just follow in a nutshell. So if they think about Kritika, what are the top three things they should, understand and think about?
So one, as I said, just always carry that I am the strongest. Nothing can stop me. Always have that grit to do something big. Believe in yourself. That's most important. Whether anyone else believes in you or not, you need to believe in yourself. And if you're not able to believe in yourself, at least believe that one person who believes in you. Believe the person who believes in you. One. Second, I would say that always find a mentor for yourself, because your mentor is the one who will take you the long way. You alone cannot do anything. We alone cannot do anything, right? But if you have a mentor by your side, I'm sure you will be able to travel a long, long way. And the third thing that I would say is, anything that you do it with passion, otherwise don't do it. As simple as that. I follow that. If I take up something, let it be the smallest of the task. It has to be done with passion, otherwise it's better not to pick it up. Don't put your hands without your heart into it, because if your heart is not there, you cannot make you can't even put your mind into use. So your heart has to be in that place before your mind has to start working on it. So these are the three things that I follow, and I believe in, and I think this is what has brought me a long way and is going to take me where I want to be.
That's wonderful. So now we'll look forward to take some questions. So to our audience who's listening, you more than you are absolutely open to ask any questions you want to Kritika ma'am. And in the meanwhile, we have received a few questions. Let's see what they are. So one of the questions is, Kritika, in the design industry, I've observed a fascinating blend of creativity and entrepreneurship. You have successfully navigated this intersection as the founder of Kriti Interiors. Could you share your journey on establishing yourself in this field? But she's already explained that. But in one word, if someone wants to become a businesswoman, what exactly do you suggest they should do to save the time and achieve that growth faster?
Just work on one thing. Just get the balance, because as a woman, only one image comes to my mind, that a woman has having multiple hands. Generally during the Women Entrepreneurs Day, these icons come out with a woman with a lot of hands, one hand kid and one hand this. So something like that. But only thing if you have to work on is, as I would just keep telling, that just believe in yourself, and just plan yourself so that you can maintain that balance between entrepreneurship and your personal life.
That's interesting. So the next question would be a little business related. Having analyzed various growth strategies across industries, we've seen the importance of sector-specific approaches. So, what is your view in regards to the key drivers for the interior design business? So, how do you think the interior designing business would fare in the next couple of years? And what do you think are the key drivers towards it?
I think interior designing field is the future. I mean, it's not just the future; it is the present, and it is going to be one of the most strongest field in the future as well. Because, uh, see, this is one stream which allows you to put your creativity into picture. And the best part of this field is you cannot actually have competitors in this field, because your creativity will be your creativity. What I can create, another creative person cannot. What the other person can create, I cannot. So you can never be a competition to each other at all. So this industry is only going to be growing, and I think the best part of growing in this industry would be looking at more of collaborative opportunities rather than looking at competing opportunities in this field. And if we actually start doing that as a fraternity of interior designers and architects, I think we will be able to go a long way, and we will be able to set an example for the entire globe as Indian designers itself.
Absolutely. The next question is quite interesting. What role do you think artificial intelligence would play in the future of interior design? As you see, as you see everywhere, AI is just popping up. So, what do you think AI would? Do you think AI would disrupt the industry or change the industry, or would have a impact? I mean, where do you see it going?
I think it is already changing the way people, the way the things are presented to the client. I think AI is helping the most in presenting things to the client, and I think with Chat GPT coming along around, there has been a lot of content which is available online. I was sitting in a discussion with someone a few days back, and we were. Uh, I was so fascinated. See, I'm a person who's very, very far off from technology. You know that very well about me. So it takes me time to understand technology, right? So I'm not that very good with it, and not very comfortable too. In fact, to log into this meeting itself, I was like troubling your team and how do I do it. So I find it really difficult when it comes to technology. But I was surprised when I was sitting with him in the meeting, and he said, "Kritika, you just have to type here that this is what you need, this is the layout," and the whole layout was there on the screen, and I was like, what are we even going to do if AI is going to do everything? I said, just close this, please. We need to be doing our work. But I think I don't think it's going to disrupt the industry. It is changing a lot of things with the young crowd. But I think still in this field, right? Interior designing is, it involves a lot of money when you have to get interiors done. And I still think somewhere in India there are the elders of the family who are the decision makers, and for them to get along with AI and all of that is going to be still difficult and a challenge. So I think it will not disrupt the industry too much, but it is going to be on the hype for some time, and then I think slowly people will come down because manual work is going to stay manual. Not everything, that machine can take care of.
Understood. So, the next question would be, what is the best advice you have received from your mentors? So, top two advices which you have received from your mentors, which you could share with us.
I keep receiving advices from my mentor on and off, but two most powerful. I would back one point with a short story. So during COVID times, when all of us were depressed, when all of us were like, what do we do? How do we manage our finances? Where is this all going? At that point of time, my mentor only said one thing: Kritika, you need to have a positive mindset. That thing has stayed very, very strong in me even today. You will not believe that just that small shift in my mindset actually helped me being equipped with a lot of projects even during the COVID time. I used to be on my system throughout the day working on my projects. I was busy even during COVID with just that small shift in mindset. One. And the second thing that being positive and always having a smile on your face, always staying happy. When you're happy inside, you're going to be able to make people happy outside. So that was first. And the second advice that my mentor has always given me is that communication is the key. Anything it is, you have to be straightforward. You need to be you need to be approachable, and you need to be able to communicate things to people. When you're able to do that right, it's easy to connect with people. So these two things, top two things that I has helped me in my business from my mentor.
That's interesting. The next question is, this industry which you are in has quite a few issues when it comes to payments. So, how do you handle those situations? And what trick of the trade do you have to collect these payments?
There is no trick. That's the most challenging part of the trade. That's the most challenging part of the trade. What happens is majority of the clients comes through your close circle, or it is like, if I've done a project for Jubran, then Jubran is recommending to his brother, then his brother is recommending to someone. So it slowly starts to happen that everything is coming from a close circle, and there starts the problem. Why do I say the problem starts there? Because everything is coming from a close circle. The expectation is, अच्छा हम थोड़ा relax करके payment दे सकते हैं, and there is where the problem starts. So it's never easy to collect payments. I think I would not be the right person to answer that question. That I'm very good at collecting payments, but yes, eventually we make sure that the payments are in. It is difficult, but I mean, we just have to go. I don't think it's the only business which has problems with collecting payments. I think every business has problems in collecting payments. Yeah.
That's absolutely, I agree. I mean, same problem I face all the time in the media industry. Okay, so that's the questions we have received. So if there are any more questions which are coming our way, we are more than happy to take them. Otherwise, in the meanwhile, we'd like to thank Kritika ma'am for being a part of this live session. It was an absolute pleasure to hear from you, and I know that you really like mentoring young entrepreneurs. So any young entrepreneur seeing this event, please, you're more than happy to connect with us or to connect with Kritika ma'am to get mentored in your business journey, and I'm sure that she'll be an absolute great mentor towards the growth of your visions and also to achieve your goals and milestones. So thank you so much, ma'am. More power to you. We really look forward to see you achieve the goals which you have mentioned, and very soon we'll have a panel discussion with you in the industry when it comes to interior design and architecture, and we look forward to hear your insights as well. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Jubran. It was pleasure being with you. It was my second experience with you, and I truly enjoyed. And thank you for making me feel very, very comfortable. I was not nervous for the very first time, being interviewed, and I've not been nervous. Thanks to you, you made me very, very comfortable with this. And thanks to all
It's
the people who have joined and taken out time and hearing us out as well. Thank you.
it
Thank
was
you.
an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us, and we really look forward to hearing more from you soon.
Absolutely. Very soon.
Thank you. Cheers. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Jubran.